It was a humid evening in early November, the kind Lagos is known for, the city alive with impatient horns, Okada engines revving, danfo conductors shouting for passengers, and Fuji music spilling from a buka at the corner. Adéolá was halfway across Allen Avenue, humming softly to herself when two blinding headlights cut through the drizzle. A violent impact tore the song from her lips and everything went black. When she woke, it was to a silence so deep it was suffocating. No chatter of nurses, no rhythmic beeping of hospital machine, not even the swish of her own bedsheet. The doctor's lips moved, but his words dissolved into emptiness. At her side was her husband, Kúnlé. His eyes glistened with tears. His palm warm over hers as his lips shaped words she could not hear. "It will be okay. I am here." And he was. Through endless therapy sessions, through the long nights when sleep fled, through the quiet moments when she felt invisible, Kúnlé was always there, patient, gentle, and perfect. But every perfection has its own flaws. The one who comforts you while wiping your tears might be the one who wants you dead. Weeks later, Adéolá stared awake one night to something she hadn't felt in months, a faint ringing in her ears. It sharpened, swelled, and suddenly she could hear again. Her heart leapt. Her first instinct was to wake Kúnlé, to tell him their nightmare was over. But then she froze. Through the bedroom door came his voice, steady and cold. "She still can't hear. Perfect. That gives us time." Adéola's blood chilled. Another voice followed, smooth and mocking. A woman, busy. "Then we are in the clear." "Once I sign the transfer, the fortune is mine," Kúnlé replied. "She will never know. She trusts me completely." Her late father's inheritance, the wealth he had built in Ibadan, his land, his company shares, all of it. And her husband, the man who held her hand through the storm, was planning to strip it away. From that night on, Adéolá wore silence like a mask. She smiled when he smiled. She signed the papers he pressed into her hands. She shuffled through the house like a shadow, deaf to the world. But when night fell, she listened to the murmurs of his phone calls with Bisi, to the way his voice softened when he spoke to her, to the lies he fed their friends. Then one evening, she heard something more terrible than betrayal. "We need to be careful," Kúnlé whispered. "The accident was close, but not enough. If she suspects, we finish it." The accident, the headlights, the impact, her silence. It had not been fate, it had been him. Her stomach turned. The man who kissed her forehead every night had tried to end her life. From that moment, Adéolá became a ghost in her own house. She crept into his office, memorized the codes to his safe, and found photographs of Kúnlé and Bisi in hotels during the business trips he had sworn were for her sake. She planted a recorder under his desk, and one hot afternoon, disguised in a headscarf, she traveled to Ibadan to meet Barrister Túndé, her father's old friend and lawyer, in a small cafe tucked beside the Dugbe market. Túndé leaned close, his voice low. "Adéolá, the original will is gone. Without it, Kúnlé can claim everything. But if you find it, you can destroy him." From then on, her life became theatre. At parties in Ikoyi, she laughed at his jokes. At church, she leaned on his arm. But behind her calm face, her ears caught every sleep, every tremor in his voice. One night, she heard Bisi hiss, "No more accidents. End it." 2 days later, Kúnlé told her with a smile that they would celebrate their anniversary at a new cliffside restaurant in Lekki, the kind with candlelight, wine, and a dangerous view of the ocean crashing against rocks. She agreed, her heart hammering in her chest. At the table, he poured her a glass of red wine. A sharp chemical note called into her nostrils, faint but familiar. The same bitter scent she remembered from that night of her accident. She excused herself to the bedroom and dialed Detective Femi, the man Barrister Tunde had trusted. "It's tonight," she whispered. "It's happening." When she returned, her smile was steady, while Kunle's back was turned. She switched their glasses. They toasted, they drank, and within minutes, color drained from his face. He clutched the table, eyes wide with panic, as uniformed policemen stormed in. Detective Femi dropped the folder on the table before him. Bank transfers, photographs, the missing will, recordings of every whispered plan. Kúnlé's mask shattered, and for the first time, Adéolá saw the man he truly was. Weeks later, she stood in her father's study in Ibadan. The air was still, but no longer heavy with fear. Kúnlé was gone. Bisi had vanished into the shadows of shame. The fortune was hers, but more importantly, so was her freedom. She touched the wooden desk her father once worked at and whispered to herself, "Silence is blind, but in the right hands, it becomes the sharpest weapon."